I never thought my own wedding would turn into a neighborhood drama, but leave it to HOA Karen to make it unforgettable. I had spent months planning the perfect day with my fiancé, sending out invitations to family and close friends. The guest list was carefully curated people who truly mattered to us. Everyone seemed excited, except for one persistent neighbor, Mrs. Helen Carstairs. Famously known in our community as HOA Karen, Helen had a reputation for policing the neighborhood with an iron fist. Colors, and even had an opinion on what time the streetlights should turn on. So when she noticed she wasn't on our wedding guest list, her response was, well, toxic HOA Karen behavior. It started with passive-aggressive notes slipped under our door. How could you exclude me from such an important event? I thought neighbors were supposed to support each other, one read. I shrugged it off. It was just Helen being dramatic as usual. But the next day, things escalated. She knocked on our door at 7 a.m., wearing an expression that suggested she was ready to declare war. Why wasn't I invited? She demanded, arms crossed. This is a community event, and I have the right to attend, I tried to explain. That weddings are private affairs, and that invitations were based on personal relationships, not HOA membership. Helen was having none of it, and then the unthinkable happened. On the morning of our wedding, as we were busy setting up flowers and arranging tables, there was a knock at the door. To our shock, Helen was standing there this time with a police officer in tow. She had called the cops, claiming she was being excluded from a community event and that it was somehow illegal. The officer politely listened to both sides, and after a brief explanation, it became abundantly clear that Helen had no legal grounds. Weddings aren't community events, they're personal celebrations. He reminded her of this and left with a friendly smile, probably suppressing laughter at the absurdity of it all. By the time we finally walked down the aisle, Helen was sulking on her porch, glaring from across the street. We couldn't help but laugh. If anything, her antics made our wedding day even more memorable. It was a reminder that some people will always find drama where none exists, and that boundaries, even against a persistent HOA Karen, are worth protecting.